Hi there. Good morning, everybody. Want to welcome you here to Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show, a show dedicated to progressive rock and other forms of rock music. So, anyways, we're here today to do the episode that we've been doing for the past 15 weeks now. This will be episode number 15 of Battle of the Masterpiece albums. So, what this is about is I've taken all the Masterpiece albums in my own personal collection. So, these are the ones that I think of as Masterpiece albums. And I really wanted to see if the albums that I loved, the ones that I think are the best of all time or my favorites, are still those albums, or am I just a bit delusional and haven't given the new stuff as much love? And maybe I'm just being more nostalgic. So I wanted to see if that was the case. So far, it hasn't been the case. Most of the album battles have gone with the one that I thought was the best, ended up being the best. And how I came to this is I took all my favorite ones, the 15, and then I put my second favorite group and my third favorite and my fourth favorite group just based on looking at them. And then I rolled dice and put them all in their separate categories. So all 15 of the first ones I rolled and then put them, and then the second, so on down the line. That's how I came to it. And then I listened to all the albums and decided if what I felt about them was really true or not true. So that's the whole premise of why I'm doing this. So this is the final episode. So because there's 61, there's an odd album, and so this episode will have five. And because there's going to be four semifinals, we need two albums for the final semifinal. So the winner and the runner-up in this one will both go through to the semifinals. So we have five of them. So I'm going to do this the way I normally do it, which is I give you the five albums. I show you the five albums. Then I go back and talk about each of them. And then I give you my ranking according to how I listened to them over the last week or so. So one of those albums, Paul Simon's Graceland from 1986. Blue Oyster Cult's Fire of Unknown Origin. I believe this is from 82. Can't quite see it, but I think it was from 82. Genesis Nursery Crime from 1971. Peter Gabriel Security. This was also, I believe, from 1982. And then Black Sabbath's Master of Reality, and I believe this was from 1971. So we have two from 71, two from 82, and then one from 86. All these are masterpiece albums for me, so there's not a lot of space between them. And actually worked out, because I normally what I do is I listen to the album and then I give it a number, and then I look at the numbers at the end, and it just turned out that each of them had a different number, which was kind of strange. That hasn't happened yet. So now I'm going to talk about each of the albums. So the first one we'll talk about, so I'm going to do them in reverse order because that's the way the stack is right now. So the first album, Master of Reality. This is a new jewel case. I broke the other one, so I replaced it. It's why it's got this white corner. The other one didn't. It was black, as the rest of the album was. So Master of Reality, coming out in 1971. Black Sabbath's third album. I love this album. It's near the top of my Black Sabbath collection, in my as being one of my favorites. Has some of the very outstanding tracks on it, and some kind of genre starting type songs. So you've got Sweet Leaf, of course, which many people feel was one of the first kind of stoner rock songs. You've got After Forever, a song that a lot of people think might have been an early kind of speed metal song. Yeah, definitely got some good stuff on here. So most of the tracks on here I love. Sweet Leaf, of course, is the opening track. Very heavy, very kind of melodic doom metal sound, but also got that kind of stoner rock feel to it as well. After Forever, fast paced. Though compared to the first song, it's very fast paced, heavy, Very speed metal-ish, kind of prototype speed metal song. I do love this song. For many years, it was one of my favorite, if not my favorite on the album. It's kind of faded back a little bit. Embryo is a little piece that opens Children of the Grave. This is the absolute killer track, one of Black Sabbath's biggest songs, I think. Um, Certainly was one of my favorites initially with this album. Still like it a lot. It's very heavy, it's melodic, it's got some different sounds going on there. Orchid, another pretty interesting little piece at the beginning of Lord of this World, which is a track that has kind of grown on me over time. And Solitude is next, which is probably my favorite song on the album. It wasn't initially, I never listened to it. Very depressing and doomy song, but like Planet Caravan on the previous album, I kind of like it a lot, you know. And Into the Void, another great track to end off a fantastic album. This album produced by Roger Bain and released in 1971. So Black Sabbath, master of reality. Next up, Peter Gabriel, Peter Gabriel, Peter Gabriel's Security. This is his fourth studio album, released, I believe, in 1982. Got some real good stuff on here. Starts out with Rhythm of the Heat. This is a really, for me, one of the great start songs for an album. I really like this a lot. It's kind of melodic. It's got a heaviness to it, almost a doomy feel at points in time, but I do like it a lot. San Jacinto, this is one of the most underrated Gabriel songs, in my opinion. It's long been one of my favorites. I do like the live version a little bit better. I think the acoustics are better for that. I have The Touch. This is a up-tempo beat song, which um, I love. I used to sing this all the time. Probably for a long time, it was my favorite track on the album. But I don't know if it still is. Could be. Family and the Fishing Net's kind of the one track on the album that I kind of ignore a bit. Always kind of never really liked it. I can't say I didn't like it. It just was not something I followed. Shock the Monkey, of course, is the big hit on the album, which got a lot of airplay on MTV. Was one of those first kind of dominating video tracks as well. Lay Your Hands on Me, another good track, is one of the longer tracks as well. Um, got that kind of up tempo feel to it as well. Wallflower. This is another song, kind of fits in the Family and the Fishing Net, although I do like this one a little bit better than that one. And then it ends up with Kiss of Life, which absolutely killer track. Love it. Um, Kind of reminds me of a song he did later called Kiss the Frog. There's very similar type feel to them. Gabriel Murata, Levin, Fast, David Rhodes, John Ellis. So most of this, they kind of Morris Pert, a lot of even Peter Hamill's on here, which I didn't know until recently because I just didn't pay attention to it. But a lot of the same kind of people that he has on most of his albums. Gonna need a drink here. My throat's very dry today. So the third album out of the boot is Nursery Crime from Genesis. Um, really good album. Really, they just from Trespass on, they just keep getting better. This one is great. The musical box, one of my favorite Genesis songs, and I always want to call it music box, but I know it's the musical box. I just forget sometimes. Really good track. The longest track on the album. Maybe the most musical of the songs on the album, I think. For Absent Friends is a good part. Return to the Giant Hogweed, very kind of similar to the Knife on Trespass, I think. They have that same vibe, kind of a fast paced, heavier song for Genesis, really. Seven Stones, great tune. Harold the Barrel, kind of a weird, quirky tune, but I do like it. I do like Harlequin. I know some people don't really care for it. I kind of like it. It's you've got the harmonies going on here, which I do appreciate. And then, of course, the Fountain of Salmaces, or Salmes, if you want to call it that. Whatever you want to call it. People have a different pronunciation of the word. To me, it's Salmaces, but that's just my own opinion. This is the second longest or third longest track. The three big ones musical box, Return of the Giant Hogweed, and Fountain of Solace. These are the longest tracks. This is a great song. I went through a period of time in recent years where this was my favorite on the album. It's kind of gone back a little bit. I think it's probably more the musical box again, but it's a great album. The album artwork is fantastic. There is a version of this album that it comes in a kind of a green color, which uh, which I found kind of fascinating. I didn't know there was different versions of the cover, but yeah, when you even if you look at it closely, you can see it's got a bit of a green tinge to it as well, even though most people think of it as a yellow. So, Nursery Crime from Genesis. I guess it's their third studio album from 1971 as well. Yes, I believe it is. Yep, it is. Next up, from 1981, actually, I thought it was in 82, but it's in 81, is Fire of Unknown Origin from Blue Oyster Cult. This was my introduction album to Blue Oyster Cult, and for many years was the only Blue Oyster Cult album that I owned. And then I bought it also, of course, in CD because I had to have it. Great album. All the tracks are fantastic on here. Fire of Unknown Origin, the opening track, really good. Really like it a lot. Burning for You, of course, is the kind of the hit on the album, which kind of gave the album its famous part. You got Veteran of the Psychic Wars. Now, I believe this was the one that was in this movie Heavy Metal, but I can't remember. I always get it mixed up with Heavy Metal, the Black and Silver, but I think it was the Veteran of Psychic Wars. I think only because the song Heavy Metal is called Heavy Metal, I sometimes confuse it. But this is a Veteran of Psychic Wars, probably my favorite song on the album. Got that heavy beat and kind of spacey in its ways as well. Soul Survivor, a little bit different. The bass at the beginning is kind of cool. I like that. Heavy Metal, the Black and Swords is kind of the heaviest track on the album as far as that metal sound goes. Vengeance of the Pack, this is more of a faster paced song. I do like that a lot too. After Dark, it's kind of a weird tune. Joan Crawford, this is one of my favorite tracks on the album as well. It's kind of a quirky, typical BOC song, and it ends off with "Don't Turn Your Back," which is kind of a poppy song. I don't mind it. I think it got a little bit more attention than it probably deserved, but it's a decent track. Um, but like most stuff by Blue Oyster Cult, this album is different than the previous ones. They're all very different. Next up and last on this list, Paul Paul Simon's Graceland. So I have a little bit of a history with this album. This was the only when I took my Walkman and when I went to New Zealand, was gone for a month. I took only one cassette, and it was this one, and I played this a lot. And so whenever I see this album, it brings me back to my trip to New Zealand. So this is his 86 number 1986, I believe. Yeah, 86 release. Probably to me, this is probably his best album. Just my own opinion, but I think it is. It's got just from top to bottom really good tracks, very memorable tracks. The Boy in the Bubble, great opening track. Probably one of his most famous songs. I do love it. Graceland is really good as well. I know what I know. It's kind of a quirky song. Some of his lyrics are kind of quirky. It's hard to figure out where he's going with this stuff. Gumboots is good. I don't mind that. The diamonds on the soles of her shoes. This is probably the hit on the album and probably the most famous song on this album. Just really quirky lyrics and catchy beats as well. You Can Call Me Al. This is for this one. I always remember the video with him and Chevy Chase doing this song. It's really funny. It sticks in my head for some reason. Under African Skies, I like this track. It's probably the best deep cut on the album. Homeless, yeah, another kind of African kind of vibes to it. Crazy Love Volume 2, it's maybe the most forgettable song on the album. I don't listen to it, and it kind of zone out a bit when it comes on. That's Your Mother, same kind of thing going on here. All Around the World, or The Myth of Fingerprints. This is kind of a quirky tune. I do like it. So it actually is kind of top heavy. The better tracks are in the top half of the album, but it's a great album. I do love it. And so that's it. So those are the five albums that will be ranking today. So now I'm going to give you them according to how I rank them. So coming in at last, but certainly doesn't deserve to be last. But for I don't know, maybe I've listened to it too much in recent years, but it hasn't. So it's going to come last only because I think it's a little bit on the burned out side, and that's Oyster Cult's Fire of Unknown Origin. At one time, I think this would have been right near the top, but I've listened to Blue Oyster Cult and this particular album a lot over the last few years, so I think I had to bring it down. The same kind of thing applies to this album, which at one point would have been right near the top as well. Genesis Nursery Crime. I think I've done quite a few videos with this and listened to it quite a bit over the last few years, and it was already kind of burned out to begin with. So I think that's why it's going to come here at number 4. Number 3, actually thought this one was going to make it to the next round because when I listened to it, I was right into it. I hadn't listened to it for a while, but then it got beat by one of the other two albums. And we're talking about Peter Gabriel's Security. I really thought this was going to end up getting into the next round, but it didn't. And number 2 surprised me because I thought I was over this album and kind of burned out, but I really enjoyed it. I haven't listened to it for a while, and that's Paul Simon's Graceland coming here at number 2. So we will move on to the next round. And of course, that leaves only Masters of Reality, which won this. This is just too good of an album for anybody to beat. Really, it's tough. It's a strong album for Black Sabbath. It's actually challenged for me in recent years to become my favorite Sabbath album. But I guess we're going to find out how it's going to go as it goes along here. Just a little bit of dirt on it here. So Black Sabbath Master of Reality come number 1. So reiterate them. Black Sabbath's Master of Reality, number 1. Paul Simon's Graceland, number 2. Peter Gabriel Security, number 3. Nursery Crime from Genesis, number 4. And Blue Oyster Cult's Fire of Unknown Origin in the 5th spot. So I hope you've enjoyed this. This is the final episode of the first round, episode 15. Now we will go on to the semifinals, and probably on this week I'll announce because I'll have to now go through all these albums that made it and decide which ones go into which battle. I'm probably going to do more of the dice thing this time because most of the albums that are left are all really strong, so it doesn't really matter. But I want to make sure that no band has 2 albums in the same battle. If I can help that, I will try to do that. Anyways, I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Please hit the like and subscribe. And if you want, you can make any comments about any of the 5 albums we talked today or what order you would have put them in. So we will see you next week for the first of 4 semifinals. So take care and have a good one. Goodbye.